What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate business into a life of freedom. We've got a fun episode today because Greg and I are off the chain, off the leash, because we have no guest, and therefore it's just going to be us doing our thing. We're talking specifically about how to work with buyers without losing your mind, and we have a bunch of fun and interesting questions that viewers have submitted on the Facebook group about working with buyers, both from a marketing and sales side and also from a client control perspective. Like when they try to do interesting things, like say, Greg, you just handle the research on the insurance for me. That'd be great. Thanks. Go ahead and take care of that. Let me know. Give me a report on my desk on Monday morning when you're done with that. The Junior Grandmaster himself is here, and he shall not be doing any of those things for buyers, because he has a little thing we like to call client control.
And self-respect.
What's up today? And self-respect. and a few remaining shreds of dignity. I mean, the man does have 2 cats, so it can't be, the dignity meter can't be that high. But you can't see this, but if you're listening to this after the fact, but Greg is flipping me off. No surprise there. But Greg, a man of a few shreds of dignity left. What's up today?
Oh, dude, I am having a lot of fun. I am what a beautiful place to live. It is just absolutely gorgeous. We had the our mastermind earlier this morning. Had a few of our team members on, and I was just out there doing circles, and we were recording earlier today in our mastermind that you and I do a mastermind about buyers, and I think that it's very fitting that we stay with this track today, because I think there's going to be a lot of good content. And we were laughing off air about how buyers can literally make you want to commit homicide on a consistent basis at times, but there's a real easy way to not lose your mind. And I think that's something that a lot of us are going to go over, because we're getting into the buying season. This is when they're going to start coming out of the woodwork like cockroaches. I love all my buyers, but when they start running out and they want to buy and do everything else, you feel like you're under the gun to make something happen and do it right when they need it. And we're going to literally just how to work with buyers without losing your marbles. Because it can happen. It can happen. Let me tell you.
That's right. And so the mastermind this morning, we were talking about the fundamentals of how to work with clients, after they've kind of got through the pre-qualification stage, and what your first steps are. And we won't retread that, because those are the fundamental things we talk about in that training. We want to talk about some of the more interesting and exotic kind of situations that come up. And just how to handle specific objections, specific situations that come up with working with buyers that are a little unusual, out of the box, and things like that, as well as some issues that can crop up when you don't have good client control and you don't set good expectations. How do you get out of that, and what can you do to fix it after you yourself have effed up? So we've got a lot of fun stuff to get into, but let's start with this one.
What is effing up?
Fucking up, epically
so
screwing
clear.
up.
That's what effing up.
Thank you, Greg.
I just like to make you say an F-bomb. That was so worth it.
Congratulations, Greg. Okay, so this is this question from David. Says, what's the best way to keep a buyer motivated and on track after losing out on an offer? They really had their hopes up about that particular home. Greg, this has got to come up, quite a bit in the last couple of years, and I'm sure it has for a lot of people around the country as the market has continued to tighten and inventory drops.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of the things is that you need to, like we've talked about before, you got to consistently ask questions. Always be in a state of curiosity with your buyers, and it goes into right when you're first working with them, when you're making that offer. It starts there. It doesn't happen on the back end. Happens on the front end of working with that buyer in that house. So when you see the house, first off, you got to make sure you get a hold of the listing agent. Get all the information. How many offers, when they're accepting offers, are they writing an offer? Is anyone in their office writing an offer? What do you need to put in that offer to make you more attractive to the sellers? Are the sellers looking for more money or a shorter close? Tighten it up and figure out what you need to do. Then once you get that information, you figure out when the offer date is in time. You don't write the offer. If it's Monday at 2, you don't write an offer, Sunday or Tuesday or Friday, the week prior to. You write it, get it pre-written. Then you call the listing agent. We say the offer's due at 2 o'clock. You write it. You call them at 1 o'clock going, how many offers do you have in hand? Did you end up writing an offer? Did anyone in your office write an offer? Okay, what should I need to know to put in this offer there? Because what we're doing there, the first time you ask this question, is the fact that you're getting the lay of the land. Who are the players? What's going to happen? What is the terrain going to look like? And then it's go time. Once you launch into that and you're like, okay, I have, we're going to be 2 offers. The agent's not writing one. No one in their office is writing one. And, the agents that I know that are working with, they tend to do X, Y, and Z. So you lay the game plan out for the buyers. Then you go to your buyers and you say, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to try to buy this house, or do you just want to go buy the damn thing? And then based upon that answer, you put your strategy together and you set the expectations up right then and there so that they're not sitting there going, well, I wish we could have put more in, or I could have gone more on the deposit or something like that. No, you gave them all the facts up front. You say, look, we may or may not get it, but we're going to go give it our best shot. And then make a determination on how bad they really want it. After they make that determination, take action. And then the chips will fall where they're going to fall. People have a unique way of, going for something that they truly want and putting all their eggs into one basket. And they have access to resources you didn't know they had access to at times, if that house means all that to them. And if it doesn't, and they're just trying, they're kind of throwing the stuff against the wall to see what sticks, well, then that's where they are too. So get it set up and let them know that they may or may not get it, but we're going to do everything we can for you. And there's always another boxcar coming down the tracks. Thank you, Grandmaster, for that quote. I still don't get that. Because, how can it be coming down the tracks without an engine? It's just like just coming down the tracks. It's like, okay.
I think the context is if you're watching a train go by, like the engine has already passed. Most of the boxcars have already there's just the train just doesn't end. There's always another boxcar at the end of that train that's coming.
Always more listings.
Yes.
Always more listings. And let them know that, guys, we may or may not get it. We're going to go for it 100%, but there'll always be another home coming on the market. So we'll just keep on trucking. We'll keep on, looking for you. Keep beating those bushes to see, what falls out of it, and then we'll get you guys into a house. So you manage the expectations on the front end, not on the back end. That's what I do.
All right, makes sense. Well, speaking of listings, real quick, we'll just dive into this one briefly here. This is from Kat. Closing a buyer today in a townhome neighborhood, looking to leverage that into some listings with door knocking and marketing. What are some great strategies for getting a listing around a closed buyer transaction?
Okay, so what they're looking she's closing a buyer. A buyer's moving into the neighborhood, right?
Yeah,
she got a listing from them.
She was the buyer agent, and they're closing.
Couple of things. We can do door knocking, and you can do calls, and you can do postcards, and you can do social media. Just basically browbeat the neighborhood. So on the Facebook, you type in the address, do a radius around that property of X, Y, and Z. How far you want to go around it. Let them know that you brought in. There's a new family that's coming into town. Steve and Lisa, and they have 2 beautiful kids. And to kind of keep your eyes open for them. They're going to be moving in on this date. Go make sure you go say hi. You can also do a welcome to the neighborhood party. And you throw an event, like have a taco truck or have a pizza company or do something to have food and a couple of beverages. Your choice if you want to have alcohol and non-alcohol, really your call. At the event, bring all the neighbors together to come welcome this new family to the neighborhood. Because if you can create an event that makes you the hero but not really being the star, you're just the facilitator to a fun time. So all the souffles and all the welcome to the neighborhood gifts, all the awkward stop-bys like, Steve, Lisa, Frank from 2 doors down, hi. Fuck, what am I going to talk to him about now? Welcome to the neighborhood. Okay, I got to go. But you can have it do it in a much more convenient time when everybody gets together and as a pack, you guys can start bonding and you can start just mingling together. Do 250 postcards around the neighborhood, do door knocking, do the phone calls. That's what I would do. But that's how you could leverage it. Over time, you'll be able to leverage those into listings down the road, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen right now.
Right.
Because if you're looking for instant gratification, I'm not 100% sure that this is the right strategy for you. Because listings take longer. Buyers are instant gratification. Get a buyer in the car, go out, look at a couple houses, bing, bang, boom, write a contract, and we're out the door. Sellers are going to be a little bit more finicky. And if you're looking to get a listing right off the bat, I don't see that 100% working for you. So, yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. All right, well, let's take a quick second just to thank everyone who is watching live with us. We've got Ronnie, Gail. What is up, Gail? Adrian, Mike says, good morning, California. Teresa's watching. Alicia, Krista. So first of all, thanks, guys, for watching. If you guys are not doing Facebook Lives like this already for your own clients and your own tribe of people that follow you on Facebook, and you need some training and support to help you do that, go to rockstarlivevideo.com. You can get our free training series on how to do exactly what we're doing right now, basically. So if you want to get on and hop on like Greg does every weekday morning, essentially, and talk about the things that he's excited about on motivation and personal improvement, self-improvement, personal development, all that good stuff. If you want to do something like that so that you can communicate directly with the people that follow you that are in your personal sphere of influence, that will show you exactly how to do that. So that's rockstarlivevideo.com. And then let's jump back in with another question. So this is from Rachel Cross. Says, how are you generating buyer leads? And I want to take a quick second to remind everyone of what our good friend Jeff Cohn says, who runs a team that they generate, I don't know, thousands. I don't remember what the exact number it was. I think they generated something like 1,200 buyer leads a month?
It was a ridiculously large number. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have over 30 agents. They're on their way to 50 agents, but they don't even allow their agents to have more than 35 to 40 new leads a month, because that's literally all an agent can handle and follow up with consistently. And even for them, he doesn't recommend like an individual solo agent going out and generating buyer leads, right? So if you're bending over backwards, or you're seeing other people brag about how many leads they generate on Facebook ads because they ran an ad over the weekend and got 100 leads, who the F cares? Yeah, don't do that. The thing that you're focusing on, unless you're on a team where they are feeding the leads to you, and those leads are probably paid for by the mortgage lender they partnered with. If you're a solo agent, don't worry about looking to go out and generate buyer leads online. You should be focusing on your sphere of influence, generating listings, social farming, all that good stuff, long before you get to the point where you start looking to generate leads. So database prospecting first before we get to buyer leads per se.
Yeah. I mean, it's a softer close right up front. I mean, Hank Avick, our good friend of ours, he runs 36 to Life. If you guys want to learn how to work your sphere and social media and really become a person of influence, one, go to Gail's, her send out cards page, and learn from her in that group how to do send out cards, and then also go to 36 to Life coaching and go sign up for Hank's coaching, and you'll learn how to work that sphere more effectively. I completely agree with you. I was having a conversation with the Steel Trap, Miss Eileen, our fearless team leader, who actually is probably being a voyeur and listening to us in the background, Matt. She now watches our show. Do you want to know why?
Just to have your lovely dulcet tones going on in the background.
That is literally the right answer. She's gotten so used to me chattering away in the background, like it just became just like her comfort zone. She would just be like, okay, Greg is talking, that's ambient noise, and now she's like, get silent in my house. What am I going to do? Oh, I'll just.
It does make you wonder as more people switch over to like EXP, they're working from home and stuff like that. If I can totally see that happening more, like us going, I kind of need something going on in the background just to feel like I'm in, just around some other human people. I mean, me, believe it or not, for as much as you make fun of me for being an agoraphobe, I go to Starbucks just about every day for that same reason. I can't stand to just sit around in a dead quiet house all day and work by myself.
Dude, I'm the same way, man. I got to get out. I am now making, I'm finding new places to go walk and sit down and work from. And I mean, I found a craft beer and whiskey place. I mean, are you for real? Together?
What?
Oh, hallelujah.
I know. And just when I'm not, you discovered a couple months after I'm there. That's fine.
I know.
Whatever, Greg.
Next time you come. And I found a new place in Alamo where this was a barbecue place, and then they tripled the rent on them, so they left. Did we ever go there and get barbecue sandwiches? I think we did. Lawrence's Meat Company? I think we did.
Doesn't sound familiar.
But I mean, there's a new brewery place, EJ Fair, going in there. So you learn a lot just walking around and getting to know neighborhoods and getting to know areas. But yeah.
True. It's good advice for anything. All right.
Yes.
So Evelyn says, "Hey, I've got a buyer lead. They want to ask, do I work with relocation companies?" And I said, yes. Anyone know what the implications are? So I'm curious, what are the implications of saying yes? You work with a relo company?
They're going to take a lot of your money from
Okay.
giving you leads. I mean, some of them will
Okay.
try to take 45+% of your commissions just for like, hey, here's a lead, and I'm going to gang rape you now, and you're going to turn around and say thank you,
Okay.
and there'll be no lube included, which is very uncomfortable. Very, very rude. I gotta say. I mean, come on. I mean, at least include lube.
35 to 40%.
Well, 35% actually, I'll pay 35%, but like 45, 50%, they sometimes come after you for that. If they're when they're getting up there, you're just like, you know what, bro, I'm good, homie. You can keep your lead. I don't want to be gangbanged.
Okay.
That's your implications on that side. But on the other side, it is a lead that just drops in your lap, and you just go work with it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's really up to me. If you need the business, go for it. I mean, I'll pay 25% all day, every day. I'll pay 35%. Don't tell them though. But yeah, that's your implications.
Right.
Really kind of simple.
Can we practice our loud whispers?
Yes, you can. Like that.
All right. We got Rick is watching. He says, "Meow, guys from Florida." And he
Meow.
says, get a cat, Matt. No, Rick, I will not be getting a cat. As Greg and I were talking about before we went live, there's just nowhere that Greg can put them in his condo where they don't have access to his live rig, because they will punish him apparently if he tries to trap them, corral them, or in any way tell them what to do.
I could put them outside, but then you're going to see cats pacing like inmates in a prison, just wow, 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 wow. But I did send Matt a attack cat video over the weekend, and Matt, you can openly admit it, these were brutal gangster ass cats, right?
Yes, that's right. I can openly admit it took 27 of them to fight off the dog. Congratulations. One dog. All right,
Okay.
let's dive back into the questions. Anna says, quick question: if I do an open house for a for sale by owner, and an agent shows up with their buyer and puts in an offer, where does it leave me?
Fucked.
Sorry, Anna. Right up there with taking the referral lead. Okay.
Yeah, your FUBAR girlfriend.
Okay.
Unless you have an agreement set up with the for sale by owner. Yeah. I mean, otherwise they're going to work it themselves.
Yes, if you go in under the assumption that you are just helping them market and that you're going to take the buyer leads, and somebody walks in and they already have an agent, yeah, that is pretty much the risk that you take. What are the odds of that happening though?
Very, very slim. And the fact of the matter is, you're not there to sell that house. Let's not get that confused. You're there to pick up buyers. So if someone comes in and sells that house, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But you picked up another 1 to 3 buyers, 1 to 5 buyers, if you're really lucky that day. Dude, that's a huge win for you. Not just knock yourself out.
And by the way, why would you not knock every door in that neighborhood going, hey, we had one open house and we stole the house?
I did one open house for this for sale by owner. I created such an attractive opportunity that they sold their house. Did you represent the buyer? Nope. But I brought people in.
That's right. Like anyone would know to ask, did you represent the buyer? Okay. So speaking of open houses, this is a good one. It's a very basic. Open house, buyer says, I'm just looking. How do you handle it, Greg? Go.
Open house. They're sitting at open house, and the buyer comes and says, I'm just looking?
Yep.
Okay, have fun. I mean, why
and you go back to folding J. Crew shirts on the table?
Well, naturally. I mean, that's what I do in my free time is I fold shirts. Yeah. I have a laundry pile in my bedroom about 3 feet tall and about 5 feet long right now. Mm-hmm. I just pick through it. That's why I love being a bachelor. I just pick through what I want. Like, that sock look like it matches that sock. Okay, here we go.
Oh, God.
Matt's
Greg is one of those guys. Greg, you have a lot of range on your clothes. I have to say, because I'm kind of right in the middle. I wear most of the same things every day. You swing wildly between like $200 custom dress shirts and a shirt that I can buy with the pocket change that I scrape out of a couch. And I mean like literally any couch, not even your own couch, just someone else's couch that you happen upon in the street. That is like, what were you telling me about? $3 shirts or $6 shirts or something like
shirts,
that?
Man.
$6
shirts.com. I mean, that's some good shit right there. I mean, I got the chicken butt one from the $6 shirts.
The what's up chicken butt? It's just horrible. Yeah, Greg is a man of wide range when it comes to fashion. All right. So Tammy has a good question. She's watching live with us and says, open house. Tammy? How do you motivate the visitors to give you an email and or phone number versus just their name? Great question.
Oh, easy. Okay, so Tammy, what you're going to do is when you bring people in, you're going to strategically set yourself up because it's like going on a date, right? For the first time, you don't know the other person, so you're kind of tentative about what you're going to tell them. So, like, you welcome them in.
This is when you break out the "What's up, chicken butt" shirt.
Yeah.
Is it just for the big date.
Yeah. It's called class.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, I'm learning here. I'm just learning. I'm just taking notes, Greg.
Immediately burning them and crying. Exactly. Like, oh, it's horrible. So what I would do is you welcome them in. You have your flyer, right? You hand it to them. Hi, welcome to the open house. How'd you find us? Was it the signs, the internet, or did your agent send you? So you qualify them right there. Then you just say, hey, the house is yours. I'd like to get your idea of what you guys think about X. So it's not about your X. Don't everyone's like, oh, why do I want to talk about that person? That's a horrible human being. You want to talk about whatever it is. Like, give me your thoughts on
the view from the master bedroom, the pool.
Yeah, the view from the master bedroom. Pick something that's unique. Hey,
right.
Matt, I'd love to get your opinion on what do you guys think about the kitchen remodel. But go ahead, take a look, and then go from there. Mm-hmm. Allow them to kind of walk through the property, and then happen to, air quotes, bump into them somewhere else, and just become curious about them, where you're from, how long you've been looking, if you found anything that you like, are you working with an agent, blah, 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 blah. Then always drop in there. You know what? I have actually access to, it's a list of properties that aren't on the market, but they still want to sell. Would that be useful for you guys for your hunt? They always say yes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Fantastic. Why don't you guys finish looking around the house, and then when you get done, don't forget to come talk to me before you leave. They go walking around. They come back and talk to you. You do chitter chatter back and forth. How was the kitchen? I love the kitchen. That's fantastic. Great. So hey, remember I talked about that list that of the homes that are not on the market? Why don't you guys go ahead and here you go. Why don't you guys just go ahead and just give me your best information, and you just awkwardly hold the pad with the pen right there. You want to just go ahead and give me your information? I'll be able to write it down.
I'm feeling very awkward right now, Greg.
That's because that's just your natural state, Matt.
Okay.
But I mean,
awkwardly hold it, there. Get them to fill it out. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And they'll look at you. They'll look at the pad. They'll look at you, and okay. They'll write all the information out. And if they don't give you some information, just be like, oh, so I still got your email. What's your best phone number?
Mm-hmm.
Just in case. Just in case. So you stare down there, and they'll look at you like, the fuck. Oh, okay. I mean, I have like my girl Roland right here. She's one of my buyer clients I picked up at an open house a little while back, and that's exactly what I did to her. I was like, oh, okay, so Roland, what's your best email? What's your best phone number? Mm-hmm. And I just ask them very bluntly, and they'll give it to you. I mean, why wouldn't they? They have a problem. You have the solution. You have this secret list. It's just the make me moves guys from Zillow. And they want this information. Like when I bought my Jeep and the dealer's like, hey, what's your best information? I didn't sit there and be like, well, I'm only going to give you my email, not my phone number, because I don't trust you. It's like, no.
I'm going to give you my third backup email, the one I really never check.
Really never check.
Yep, and my ex's phone number.
That's it. Yeah, my ex's address and my worst email address. How's that?
That's right. Yeah. All right. So I want to chime in on this one, not because of anything that I have to say, but just because there's a great strategy that I heard from Andy Cuny, who is Jeff Cohn's sales manager and kind of leads their team, does all their accountability stuff, and he also does some of the trainings in the live stream program, right? And we're just getting that set up for the agents today, make sure that they've got access to that. So it reminded me of that. So what Andy does when he runs an open house, and he obviously doesn't do them as much anymore because he's busy supervising agents, but that's a lot of where he met his buyer clients. And the way that he would do it is when you first stepped into his open house, you were invited to sign the registry, like, hey, the homeowner would like you to, would love you to sign in. But in exchange, we have a gift card drawing. So everybody that signs in is entered into a drawing for a $250 Visa card, gift card. And so, of course, you get, that takes care of the resistance. People sign in. They go, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. I get it. They sign in. They walk through the house, right? And you engage them in conversation then and do the normal stuff that you do. But point being is if you don't get to them, you still have their information and you can get their you're asking for their name, phone number, and email, right, when they register. So as long as they gave you the right phone number, you would follow up, and Andy would just tell everyone they won the gift card because he figures, well, hey, if they end up closing a house with me, I will gladly buy them a gift card. So he just literally calls up and follows up with everybody who registers and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know you actually won the drawing for the Visa gift card. It's $250. I would love to drop that off and deliver it to you if you want to meet up somewhere. And great, let's make up plans to meet tomorrow. Quick question, what caused you to drop into that open house? And then he would open the conversation, start talking about their wants and needs. So it's a really cool kind of a strategy to give you essentially a really good excuse/incentive for you to reach out to everyone that registers. It gives them an incentive to put their accurate information down because it's a legitimate thing that they're signing up for. In their mind, there's not a lot of other people on that list. So if you're holding a drawing and there's 5 names on that, they actually have a pretty decent chance of winning. So there's a lot going on there, but it worked really, really well for him. And his goal was at the end of each open house to meet one person that would then go out and see 4 or 5 other homes with him as soon as the open house closed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so he would close it. He'd say, hey, this may not be the right one for you. I've got a list of the houses that are similar, that are right within a couple of miles of here. If you want to give me just a minute to shut down the open house, I can meet you over at the first house, and then we can go and see 3 or 4 of them right after this open house is done. And he was able to flip those open houses into showings and clients immediately, and then he would follow up with everyone after that.
That's fantastic. Something if you didn't want to spend the $250 and still get that. What I used to do for open houses is I would take the Forbes Mill $25 gift certificate. Mm-hmm. And I remember this one house, this is years ago, it was a $1.8 million home. The neighbors are kind of coming through, buyers are coming through. And I had the $25, a $20, $15, and a buy one, get one free. I had them all set up on the kitchen counter, right? Okay. And I would use it as bait for people, and I would kind of yell at people, not in a mean way, but like I would say, hey, you guys look around, blah, blah, blah. Before you leave, I want you guys to make sure you come back here and you can pick which one of these these discounts you can get just for coming through the open house. It works extremely well. And now at that price point, I mean, people had more than a couple of pennies rocking around in their bank accounts. And every single time they would pick the $25 gift certificate, they look all sheepish and shit. Like, oh, it's my husband's birthday. Oh, it's our anniversary. Oh, it's something. They wouldn't go towards anything else. They'd all go for the $25 discount. Now, if you wanted to leverage that, you could, one, go get a discount, or just go print up these discount cards, have one of them at the open house, and let everyone know, like Andy did, like, hey, we're going to run a coupon, you're going to run a raffle for who's going to win this, and then just, like you said, then just drop them all off. Like, hey, here is your gift certificate for $25 just for coming through and entering your name. I think it costs, each one of those things costs like 49 cents or something like that, so it didn't cost me anything to do this, but the value was so high that people love getting the phone call and the email, like, hey, you won, blah, 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 and it cost me, instead of $250, it cost me 49 cents. So just another idea to do that there. If you want to, but yeah, if people were going to want to buy something, they're going to give you the information. End of story. So I don't think it's going to be that hard to get the information out of people.
Okay, cool. Okay, this question is from Valerie. It says, just door knocked my farm for a buyer wanting to live there. So one prospective seller asked why he should pay me a 3% commission since I don't have to list the house. It's an interesting objection. Greg, what do you think?
Because I have the buyer, bitch.
You make sure you really punctuate that at the end.
Bitch. Yes. But just look at it and be like, well, why wouldn't you? I mean, you're not paying 6%. You're getting a half price. All you have to do is pay 3% versus 6%. Is that a good deal? I have the buyer. You represent yourself. I'll represent my client to the fullest and best of my ability. Everybody wins. Mm-hmm. And then it's just deadpan. They're like, what? You don't. I mean, I don't have to sell your home. I mean, I will take my buyer and go somewhere else. Remember, I control the cards here. Yeah. Just because you live in the house doesn't mean I can't go find another one. It's like when you break up with your girlfriend. Not that like you're all butthurt because you broke up with that girl. There's a lot of other girls. You'll find another girlfriend. You know what? And like, well, you're never going to find someone as good as me. I'm like, obviously I will because you suck. That's why we are breaking up.
That's right. Okay.
I'm the best you ever find.
All right, before we get down that rabbit hole, let's pull back and take another question.
Look what I have.
What's that?
No. Matt's full phone number on this card, ladies and gentlemen. Now, where do we put these next three numbers? 881. Now, where does that go in his phone number, guys? Where does that go in his phone number sequence?
All right, this is a terrible game. We stop playing it. Okay. Flo says, buyer needs to start shopping for insurance. He said his friend told him it's a realtor's job, and because of this, he's expecting me to do it. He's perfectly capable of getting it himself. What would you suggest? How would you handle that situation?
I mean, it's just horrible advice. And it's not my job. And it's actually, you need to go take care of yourself, big boy. I mean, if you can't find insurance yourself for your new property, we got much bigger problems. Or I'll just turn them right over to my boy Sean Smith, who's my insurance broker, and be like, Sean, here's some business, buddy. Now take this guy out of my hair and go get him insurance so we can go buy a house.
Okay.
I mean, I don't get involved with helping them do those ancillary parts of the transaction. I mean, you help them find the house, negotiate the sale of that home, get them through the purchase of that property. Then you follow up with them down the road to get referrals. That is your job. Their job is to do anything else. You can be a resource, but it's not your responsibility nor obligation to help them find insurance. You can pass them off to other professionals and say, here you go. Here's a resource that I use for insurance. Maybe they can do it for you as well. Yeah. End of discussion right there.
Perfect. Okay, so let's get to a really fun one. How do you tactfully let a buyer client go? Basically, how do you fire someone? So you've clearly, and this question is from Jason. It says, you've clearly set expectations with them about, one, how competitive the market is. Number two, that all decision makers need to be present for showings. And then one of the two buyers don't show up after confirming that they will be there, and they make excuses. They want to see homes out of their price range. They aren't on the same page about what homes they want to write an offer on. Like, this sounds like a mess. So just a complete and total mess. How would you handle that?
Just say, hey, look, after working with you, Matt and Julie, with you guys for a little while, it's obviously become very clear to me that I am not the right agent for you. And I'm going to truly wish you guys the best of luck on your house hunt. And you know what? If you guys do want to talk about that, how we operate and how we work down the road, I'd be happy to do so. But I just don't think I'm the right fit for you anymore. But best of luck and have a great day. Basically, fuck off.
But Greg, how dare you? We are a client, and you are a service provider. How dare you turn us away?
Well, it's not that I'm turning you away, Matt. I just don't think that I can serve you to the highest level of what you are needing in this transaction, and I don't want to hold you back from getting the home of your dreams in the way that you'd like to do it. So I can make a couple of recommendations. Parentheses. This is where you introduce them to the agent you hate the most. End of parentheses. I think you'd really be working with Bob from Remax. He's a fantastic guy.
Oh, he's great.
Fantastic.
We love Bob. We love Bob.
We love Bob Dizzle. Oh, he's my boo. Oh, God. He smacked my knee. But, I mean, realistically, I have a client. She has turned into a great referral source, which is baffling. Right. But I called her #worst client ever. Oh my God, I call it to her face. I'm like, what's up, #worst client ever? And she's like, hi, Greg. And when we were working together, oh my God, she was a nightmare, an absolute fucking nightmare. And it was the greatest relief when I'm like, I don't think should be working together. God bless. Have, good luck on your search. Send email. Done. And, the sense of relief that just flowed over me at that point.
You broke up with the client by email?
Yeah.
Now, this is someone you knew on a personal level, though, right?
Not at that point. She was
not at that point.
No.
Wow.
No. I was done with her.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like, I never want to hear from this human ever again in my life.
Yeah. And then she turned into a great referral.
Then she turned into like my best referral source. She's like, here's this person and that person and this person and that person. I'm like, I thought you hated me. What's the deal? I don't know what changed, but #worst client ever turned into a great referral source.
Takeaway.
Very easy to dump them.
All right. So what about, and this is piggybacking on that, is this a situation where you would fire a client over? Because I'm curious, what do you do when you have a buyer who will throw you a lowball offer for every property before even going to see it? So this is a question from Vicky, and she gives an example of a typical exchange where she says like, hey, I've got a home for you. Let's go see it. Here's the address. The person checks it out and automatically goes, yeah, I could see him. Let's offer X. And it's like 40,000 under list. Right. So before they've even seen the house in person, they're already thinking low ball offer. So how do you combat that?
I just say, I look at them. I mean, all this is all negotiation. So I look at them deadpan in the face. I'm like, interesting number. How did you come up with that one? And then just shut up and let them start talking. And then they're like, well, that's what I want to offer. Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, let me ask you a question. If do you really want to buy a house, or are you just looking for like the best deal in town? Because I can help you buy a house, but in this marketplace, and this is when you explain the market, how's it going? It's a seller's market. This is not the best deal in town. Time to buy properties. Then do the pullback method. You know what, Matt? Maybe it's just not the right time for you to buy if you're looking to get the world record best purchase in this area. Have you ever considered just not buying right now? Yeah. Just staying where you are? And because, I mean, you don't want to get your reputation tarnished as lowball Louie going out there and, delivering super low offers or having to go and apologize for your client's, behavior, which you should be fucking controlling that first off. So shame on you, bad.
Well, at what point do you say, like, look, we've, either I'm not going to make that offer for you, or like, hey, if we're going to make this, if you're going to work with me, I'm not going to be your low ball. Let's throw it out there and see if we can do it kind of agent. Like, there's plenty of other people who will do that, and that's fine. Like, at what point do you just put the hammer down and say, no, I'm not going to, if that's the offer that you want to make, find another agent?
It really depends on how desperate you are for a deal. Okay. I mean, you could be like, shit, okay, I'll do another low offer. But if you're in that situation, let the other agent know up front. Be like, hey, Matt, it's Greg, dude. Hey, I'm going to be putting an offer into you. Dude, it's not our final, but just play the game with me. Throw something back at me. Like, let's get the game going. I think we can do a deal here. But don't let this number frighten you guys off. Please don't let your seller get upset about this. We're not trying to be disrespectful. Okay. And people are sitting there going like, well, you're not doing your best for your buyer. I'm like, but yes, I am, because I'm letting them know, hey, look, because emotions run high in offer situations. Sellers will never sell for more money than they can ever imagine, and buyers will never pay less than they think they should. Sellers always sell for too little. Buyers always buy for too much. So you just set them up. Hey, look, Matt, look. This is not our final offer. I know this is going to be a bit of a shock, so please let your seller know that it's no disrespect. And then once the agent goes to the seller and says, hey, look, this is a starting number. Let's not get offended. Let's play the game. Okay. That keeps everybody's emotions in check. Because my job for my buyer is to get them a house. And if they'll price themselves out. They'll gain a reputation of like, shit, here comes Greg and Steve and his wife. God, dude, I've heard these people making offers all over town and trying to cut everybody's knees off. Not what you want. Yeah. Certain personalities do that. Certain people, try to do that, and it's not the reputation you want.
Yeah,
I have had.
Yeah. Paul Franklin's watching. He says, "You just described my first client ever. I fired her ass." Good for you, Paul. That's awesome.
Woohoo!
And back to Tammy, she says, I think you should present market stats. So as in, 99% of the homes that sell in this market are sold at, let's say, 95% of list price. So you just basically tell them, like, look, that's not going to be a winning offer. Like, this is a waste of our time, because most of the homes are going to sell at 95%. You want to offer them 85% of list price. That's just not going to fly.
It's just wasting your time and my time.
It's tough in a multiple offer market. Low ball is going to get rejected quickly. I think that's probably the case all over the country right now.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And be the information source for these buyers. Guys, you got to understand that these buyers watch HGTV. They think that that's how the process works. And unless you tell them what the market is and what you realistically have to do if they want to buy, they don't know. So inform them on the next steps. so that they go into it eyes wide open instead of going into it and getting super frustrated because they're not getting houses, and then they get upset with you because you didn't get them the house that they wanted, but they came in super low because their Aunt Stephanie, dumbass, told them to just go in and negotiate a deal, honey. It's
Right.
okay.
Yeah, because they bought a house in 1984 at the bottom of the market or something like that, and they got a good deal.
Fucking Aunt Stephanie. That's our new character on the show.
Oh, that's right.
Bob and Aunt Stephanie, those two clowns.
Right.
That'll fuck
All
up
right.
a deal fast.
We've got two very juicy questions to close out on. But first, Greg, how do people reach out and connect with you, and why should they connect with you about joining up with us through the McDaniel Real Estate Systems?
Because, Matt, we're likable. Gosh darn it. And Matt loves to give big hugs. So if you guys see him, he loves people in his personal space. Just go give him a big bear hug.
What's funny about that is I actually like physical touch is one of my love languages. That's actually not that far fetched. It just depends on who is doing the hugging.
I think it was supposed to be hot females that do hugging to you, not
No, I'm just
males.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like I'll give a good strong homie hug. You know, like a good arm bar across the chest. You know what I'm saying? That'll be the extent of it. But anyway.
And hug them every 30 seconds and see how that works out for you.
Now it's too much.
Okay, so you guys are going to go to Book McDaniel right there on the screen. So go to bookmcdaniel.com. I want you guys to go there, and I want you to book 30 minutes with me. Talk about EXP, our team, what comes with this, all the good add-ons that we offer to you at no cost, above and beyond. I mean, Matt's building a podcast product so you can build your own platform so people come to you, so you don't have to do outbound calls to people. I'm going to work with a couple of the other companies we're working with to help build your downline, your rev share group for at least 50 or more in the next 5 years or less. And there's a whole laundry list of other stuff, guys. So just go to bookmcdaniel.com. Do it right now. No, wait, scratch that. Do not go right now. Do it after the podcast. Then you go to bookmcdaniel.com. Then you get time with me, and let's talk. So that's how you do it.
Okay. And then let's see. A couple folks to shout out. The guys at Wise Hire are awesome. We've got ads running right now, Greg, in your area to help put agents on your team. So just seeing how that goes with them. So far, so good. Jay's been on the show a couple of times. We love what they do. Jay is the guy that essentially came up with the DISC assessment tool, which we use the DISC a lot, and we talk a lot about it a lot here on the show. So, guys, if you want to stock your team with buyers agents, admin people, listing agents, whatever the case is, if you want to build a top team, check out Wise Hire. And then erslivestream.com. This is one of the things that those of you who are joining us on the team just got access to for free, but you don't have to join our team to get it. You can actually go to erslivestream.com and you can get access to twice a week some of the best agent training I've ever seen in the market. Mm-hmm. It's like fully, high def audio, high def video streaming from Jeff Cohn's 50,000 square foot office in Omaha, where he runs the #1 team in the state. They're going to do 800 plus deals this year. He is number 3 in the world for Berkshire Hathaway in terms of units sold. Number two. Number 3. Number 2 for Berkshire Hathaway in the world. So if you want to plug into one of the top teams in the country and get the same agent training that they get, or if you're a team leader and you want to plug your agents into that, go to erslivestream.com and check that out. You can learn all about it. You can see some of the past training episodes and all that good stuff. So those are the people that I wanted to shout out. Guys, go check out bookmcdaniel.com and get your time with Greg. And then let's finish off with 2 really good questions, and then we'll close things down. Okay, here we go. Doug Gibbons says, I need rebuttal advice. In my area, we are getting more and more buyers who will only work with the listing agent. They just use the buyer agent to look at properties here and there, but then they try to call the listing agent. So what is that all about, Greg, and how do you prevent that from happening?
Well, again, it's helping them understand that, there is a fiduciary relationship is taken on by the listing agent to get the highest and best price for that seller. So they legally are required to screw the buyer out of it as much money as humanly possible and get the terms in favor of the seller, because that's what happens when they sign the listing agreement. The buyer agent has the same fiduciary relationship to get the lowest and best price and terms for the buyer's wants and needs. So, it's a very difficult, line to walk on, why would you want to work with someone who has a legal obligation to go completely against you?
Right. Yes, it's exactly the same thing as representing yourself in court against a very good attorney. Why would you not show up with your own?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to a divorce court and you want to take your ex-wife to the cleaners, you're not going to go up to show up there by yourself and you've never done it before. And you're like, I have watched Matlock and I'm going to just decimate them. And
I've watched a lot. I have watched a lot of Matlock, Greg. That was on when you went out. Reruns were growing up.
yes, it was.
So, yeah.
And everyone who's sitting there going, what is Matt a block? Was this a new nickname for Matt? No. It's an old attorney show, but that's what I'm saying, guys. Is inform them to the fact of like, hey, fiduciary relationship, aka legally binding contract to get the highest and best price for that seller. Do you want to pay as much as the seller wants to sell it to you for, or would you want someone in your corner negotiating on your behalf that has your back?
Common sense, Greg.
I know. I would just go do it by myself, Matt.
Yeah. All right. So you would is that something that do you go out of your way to mention that in the initial conversations with buyers, or does that kind of come up if you feel them kind of being disloyal?
Well, I do the cheating script. We haven't talked about the cheating script in a long time.
It's been a long time.
So, guys, what it is we've all been cheated on in somewhere in our life, and the feeling sucks. Right, and you feel completely just butthurt about it, and you're just angry and blah blah blah. So what I talk about people, and as I say this, is that I say Matt and Julie, I really look forward to working with you guys. Let me explain to you how I work. I want you to go out and look at homes, tell me anything that you like. But the one thing that the things that I bring to this relationship is I bring time and knowledge. And so why I'm explaining this to you guys is because if you go out and you cheat on me, aka you work with another agent, that's going to hurt my feelings because I'm putting a lot of my time, energy, and knowledge into your vested interest. So you wouldn't want to cheat on me, would you? Shake my head. And they're like, no, we wouldn't want to cheat on you. And then that's why you just tell them how you operate. Look, this is how I make my money. This is what I bring to the table. Yada, yada, yakety schmackety. And it's because I use the word relationship in the middle of that discussion. And I said, you wouldn't want to cheat on me. That's going to immediately anchor that back to a time in their life when when someone wasn't faithful to them in some way, shape, or form. That anchors that negative feeling. And then I say, because now I reaffirm what I bring into this relationship, my time and knowledge. And people are like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because if they're going to, they're going to show their true colors there most of the time. If they say, well, we're just going to go look around and just kind of work with the listing agent. God bless you, man. Have a nice day. See you later. Lose my phone number. Because you only have so much, guys, seriously, you have time and knowledge. This is not a widget. You're not selling pens here where you can go buy pens at any store. You are selling real estate. In real estate, you have the knowledge of the area and you have your time invested into it. Those are your assets. Do not let someone use you and abuse those assets because you only have so much time in there. And if you want to do deals, work with people that are going to do something today or they're going to work with you today. See the difference? I mean, that's how you kind of control that.
Yeah. Okay.
Confused look on your face.
No. I have a couple of different directions I can go, but I still want to pitch this question to you, even though I know you don't use buyer agreements. So this is from Lon. It says, this is a fun one. Followed up with a buyer for over a year, recently got them pre-approved and showed a couple of houses. He uses a buyer's agent agreement, so he pulled out the representation agreement at the end of the showing. Says, they were in a hurry, so he says, take him home and look it over and let him know if he has any questions. Apparently, the buyer goes and talks to a customer of theirs who also happens to be a realtor. That realtor tells them not to sign a buyer's agent representation agreement. So now he's debating on whether to work with them or not. Do you continue working with them without signing an agreement? And we talked about how you can potentially, if you want to move forward with that, Greg, you don't use one because you use the cheating script and you found that works. To me, that's just a really odd. If I heard that, first of all, I would smoke would roll out of my ears from another realtor telling my client not to sign a buyer's agent representation agreement with me.
Right. Well, they're just trying to cock block you. I mean, they're trying to be like, hey, well, you wouldn't want to do that because of this. By the way, did you see this new house that came on the market? You're like, you wackadoodle.
Yeah.
First off,
now the buyers basically ask them to show properties without the agreement. And if so, they wouldn't have any other realtor to show the property. So what would you do in that situation? So you've got someone kind of cock blocking you essentially in real estate terms. Would you still work with that buyer even though they won't sign an agreement and they've got another realtor kind of whispering in their ear?
Well, you'd want to just, understand the relationship between the other agent and your potential client. Ask the question,
Okay.
why aren't you working with this other agent if you're taking advice from them? Obviously, word that quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had an
Yeah.
instance the other day. I had which blew me away. I was just like, whoa, what the heck? I was talking with, okay, so Monica, she's a long, long time friend. She and I were bouncers together at a bar many moons ago. And her boyfriend or fiance? I think it's boyfriend. I don't know, whatever. Um, her man crush. They want to buy the house that they live in right now, right? So I was referred by another one of my past clients, Maria. She and I, all of us worked at the bar together. Monica and I talk. Her boyfriend and I start talking, and he reveals to me that his uncle is a real estate agent in Walnut Creek. That's like right here, guys. They're buying a house in one city up called Concord, but he's an agent in Walnut Creek, and I'm like, whoa. And I just asked him point blank, well, Rick, let me ask you a question. Why are you not working with your uncle? Are we still going to have an opportunity to work together? Very bluntly. And he's like, you hear like the perplexity in his mind. He's like, well, yeah, we're going to work together. I said, well, why aren't you going to work with your uncle? And he said, well, because I started talking to you. And so you have to be very blunt with those types of conversations. I mean, very blunt, and be prepared to walk away from the transaction. But you don't want to spin your wheels for nothing to happen, right? There's no point for that. So, anyways, kind of long-winded answer.
Okay. All right. Well, let's close with this. What are your favorite things to put into your not your buyer presentation, because I know you don't have like a formal necessarily presentation that you do for buyers, but what are your favorite incentives to get them to work with you, to kind of present yourself as differently?
For buyers?
Yeah, for buyers.
I just use hey, we have a list of homes that are not on the market that still want to sell. I call it my secret MLS. Would that be helpful for you? Would that be something that would be enticing and interesting? I use that. And it's just the Make Me Moves on Zillow, guys. That's where I go. That's my secret MLS that I go tap into, and I barely ever use it. But, I mean, they don't know that. They're excited that I have an extra, something secret that nobody else gets. They're in this cool kids club, right? You got to give them that secure feeling. But buyers are really easy to deal with. They're low-hanging fruit because there's not a lot of pre-qualification that needs to take place. As long as you can open up the door, halfway decent about the information about the area, you don't kick them in the shin and call their mama fat, dude, there's a highly good chance you're probably going to get it. It's that simple. So that's what I do. Just dangle that little coolness out there, like, I have more information than Bob over at Remax. See? Bob probably doesn't even know what the Make Me Move is, so you already got a leg up there.
That's right.
Freaking Bob.
It really just comes down to your willingness and knowing how to approach them if that buyer actually does want to see one of those homes.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. All right. Absolutely.
Mike says, my niece is listing her home with someone other than me. Sigh. That does suck. And that is one of the things that we harp on this. We probably don't harp on this enough, which is the thing that Coach Hank talks about all the time. 50, 25, 5, and 1. 50 likes, 20, what is it, 50? Yeah.
Yeah, 50 likes
50,
or
20,
interactions.
20 comments, 5 conversations, 1 powerful, life-changing conversation a day. That's the goal with why you're on social media. That's one of the things that we don't do a great job of, and that's part of why family members do things like that, is because we're not doing what we need to do on social media to let everyone know that we are a busy, successful, extremely professional expert in what we do. So they end up doing dumb things like working with the first agent they came across, or someone happened to knock on their door at the right time, or somebody at work referred them to somebody, even though we're sitting there right there pulling out our hair going, I do that. I am the agent. Why would you do that? And I've told this story before, but there was a guy that owns what is now a $1 billion volume mortgage company, and his own aunt did the exact same thing, came up to him at a family function or something like that and said, hey, you do something with loans, right? I just bought a home and got my loan through Wells Fargo. Would you mind taking a second look at it? It's got to just make you want to shoot yourself. I mean, but again, that's our own fault for not keeping in touch with our database.
Yeah, and letting them know what you do, like you're saying, Matt. I mean, all of you guys that are listening to my voice, I have a shirt that says, "Want to buy a house." I have a hat that says "Real Estate Life." I mean, there is no secret to what I do for a living. I make it very clear.
No, there is
walking billboard.
Clearly, a guy that shows up and strips at houses, but that's beside the point. Speaking of,
I didn't even know where that was going with that. I'm like, strippers. Oh, I'm a gigolo. Okay.
Exactly. Very clear. You cannot look at that T-shirt and think of anything else now.
Just gigolos.
All right, guys, make sure to go to rockstarlivevideo.com. So if you have issues like that, where your family members, your friends, your sphere of influence, your former coworkers, your Facebook friends from high school, like all that, those people should know what you do, right? The best way to do that is to be doing Facebook Lives like what we're doing right now. So everybody in our circle, Greg, knows that we have a podcast. They know what we talk about because we're live 3 days a week religiously, just about without fail. Every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're talking about real estate topics, and so people understand what we do. If you want to do the same exact thing, just go to rockstarlivevideo.com. That's our free training where you learn exactly how to do what we're doing. And Greg, you go into like how you can actually pull it up on your phone, take it into an open house, talk about your latest listing, whatever the case is, and share what you're doing in real estate with your Facebook friends so that they know exactly what you do and that you are the person to turn to.
Yeah, and the guys, it's very true on the whole live video. I know a lot of you guys aren't doing it or not doing it enough. Matt, I think I told you this. Last week, I had a gal that I went to high school with over 20 years ago. Not talked to her at all. She hits me up and goes, "Hey, Greg, I'm getting into the real estate side, and more with the home warranties and stuff like that. Hey, I've been watching what you've been doing online. I think you're the perfect person to talk to." I'm like, how in the hell have you been watching my stuff? I mean, because you never know who's watching, both live and after on the recordings, and whose life you're affecting in some way, shape, or form. So just be consistent about putting the content out there, and it will come back to you in some way, shape, or form. Now, is it going to work out financially? Is she ever going to send me a deal? Probably not. But, it's good to connect with someone I haven't talked to in 20 years, see how life is, and give my knowledge to somebody else, because who knows, maybe she has a friend that she'll refer over to me because I helped her. You never know. The law of reciprocity, guys.
It's just the law of numbers. I mean, some of those will.
Yeah.
I mean, the better you keep in touch with your database. What is it, the stat that for every 12 people in your database, there's one deal and one referral per year?
You're talking about
that's the Gary Keller number.
Yeah, it's 50 to 1 if it's not Mets, and the Mets are like 12 to 1.
12 to 1, yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense to talk with the people that know you, like you, and hopefully trust you. But then just go get the content and push it out there as much as you possibly can, guys. Be aware and around people. I mean, Facebook only serves you up like 3 to 5% of your people on all of your friends list, what they're doing. So you've got to be proactive, and we can go on this on a whole nother podcast on how to go in and create lists and how to stay relevant and how to reach out to people, because the algorithm will see you reaching out and talking to people, then they get queued up for your stuff to be seen.
That's why the 50, 25, and 1 is so important, because that's what that interaction, the actual engagement and starting conversations on Facebook, that's what tells and signals correctly to Facebook that you're actually engaging. So that when you do a Facebook Live, it shows it to more people because they can see you interacting and having conversations with people, and people care what you have to say. Like, that's the signal that we're sending to Facebook. So the more that we interact, the more that we engage, the more when we do put something out there into the world, the more people will see it. The big mistake that I think we all make, at least initially with something like social media, is we assume that if we just put something out there, we're going to get a flood of traffic, and that's not true. And in fact, there's so many people doing stuff out there that Facebook is having to sort through it and choose what they show to your friends and family. And the way that they choose it is to see who's interacting with each other. And if you're not interacting with people, when you do something like a Facebook Live, nobody's going to see it. So make sure that you're interacting, commenting, wishing people, happy birthdays, celebrating their success, watching out for the life events, like just, interacting with people that are in your database so that when you do something like a Facebook Live or a post about your open house, people actually see it.
Yeah. Well, you and I are going to go down a whole rabbit trail if we're not careful here.
That is very true. All right, guys, we got a jet. Thank you so much. Make sure to book your time with Greg to talk about joining up with us at bookmcdaniel.com. So not only do you get weekly training from us directly into a private Facebook group where you can interact with us, we also get a live sales and prospecting Q&A conference call with Greg every Monday morning. You get access for free to that ERS live stream, which is the Wednesday, Friday agent trainings from Jeff's 50,000 square foot office in Omaha, Nebraska for one of the top teams in the country. I am working on a product to help you turn your Facebook Lives into a podcast. So if you're doing that, you can build yourself a platform to create more visibility and attract even more people to you, both clients and other real estate agents, to help you build that downline. And there's other stuff coming. So go to bookmcdaniel.com to learn more about what it's like to be on the team and what it's like to join up with EXP and work from home like we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Hey,
Nice
as
little bow on
always,
this one.
yeah, let's put a nice bow on this, Matt. Guys, I love you. Matt loves you. That's why we do the show. I appreciate you guys watching more than you know. So if you guys like this at all, share it out to everybody. Go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review, please. The more people that know us out there will get put in their ears. Yeah, go to bookmcdaniel.com, guys. As always, until next time, guys. Peace out, ninjas. We go.